It's a pleasure to have you tuning in, watching this. This is my baby, the Camp Savage Show. All right, I'm gonna keep reiterating that point. This is long overdue, but it's here. Today, we got a list of topics that I want to go through. Kind of all over the place a little bit. But as I'm going through those, I have one of my good friends that I'm bringing on board. And Jai, don't want to slaughter your name. Okay. I told Jai last night, send me a voice note so I can pronounce your name. Because knowing me, it'd have been over. His name is Jai Koa Parham. This man is from Alaska. I've never been to Alaska before. I would imagine that it's cold as shit, but apparently they have really good, beautiful summers. They get that check every year too. You know, I don't live on a reservation, but I'll take those donations if y'all want to go ahead and donate. No, you don't even worry about it. This man has been on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Have you been on a Jimmy Kimmel Show before? I know I haven't. Creative director, choreographer. This is my boy, Jai Koa Parham. Call the man Jai if you can't pronounce his name. It's all good. Uh-oh, look at him. Look
What's
at him.
up, man?
What's
What's
the
up?
word?
Another day up here in Alaska.
Hold on, man. You can't start it off this way, right?
Another day.
You can't just say it's another day in Alaska. I got so many things I want to ask you about Alaska, and you just teed it up, and I wasn't even ready yet.
Oh man.
But look, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Man, we're on episode 6 right now.
Episode 6.
Episode 6, man.
We moving.
Really been in my creative bag, getting all these interviews set up, and just having fun, man. This was one of the things that I wanted to touch on that I had been talking about the last couple days, but like the enjoyment and integrating the enjoyment of what you do with youthfulness to really make it blossom, because like that's what we lose sight of at some point in time in our career or whatever we're pursuing. As soon as you lose the youthfulness, man, the shit is dead because you got to find new ways to be inspired, you know?
Yep.
And like I'll say for myself at least, I was bored, extremely bored with the content that I was creating. The teaser videos were cool, but you know, got a little more depth. Been in this for a minute and have some real insight and things to talk about. But I don't want to focus on myself because this is about you right now, my guy. So in the beginning, I teed this up. You know, I said some very good things about you, by the way.
I
You know,
appreciate it.
the man is multifaceted. You know, he does his thing. But I want to hear it from you of like, how did you get into this content creation space? Do you enjoy creating content? Do you want to scale it? I just kind of want to dive into that topic real quick, man. Just give me a little background. We can start with your background, actually.
Right. So I kind of just fell into it, honestly. Um, I had moved to Los Angeles straight out of Alaska. Took like a gap year between high school and college. Um, that kind of fell through. Moved to LA, didn't know a thing about it. Didn't know soul when I touched down, and ended up being homeless for about 11, little over 11 months. Um, and during which time Drake had dropped a song called Trophies. I happened to be walking on Hollywood Boulevard. I remember like it was yesterday. And this strange dude came up and was like, "Hey man, like we like your look. You wanna do this little skit with us?" And me not knowing anything, I went ahead and did it. And they let me down this back alleyway, which was already a little sketch.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that sounds About to put you in the trunk.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 dudes, and I'm like 18 at this point, and so I'm always skeptical as to what's going on. And so they take me down this back alleyway. We go through some doors. They kind of give me the rundown, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna introduce you to the talent." I'm still not knowing where I'm at because we're in just a random room, so I'm not seeing like any signs of where I'm at or who I'm about to meet. Gave me like mafia vibes the way it was working. That's how it was working. I was like, oh man, they about to put me down. So they open the door. They're like, hey Drake, this is Jai, this is Drake. This is who you'll be working with for the comedy skit. And the whole time I'm sitting there looking at him like, nah, fam, you just dropped a song called Trophies like a week ago. This is not happening right now. So that
Wait. Time out. How'd you feel in that moment? Because like, look, we're not talking about. I mean, Drake now, a whole nother scale. Him then, at that time, obviously still climbing up that ladder, but he was valid.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely believe there's different like stages for artists or just celebrities in general. You kind of watch certain stages of their life and see like, all right, this was this chapter, this was this chapter. Um, Definitely at that point in time when Drake had released Trophies, he was already like putting out hit after hit. During which time, and that was my first celebrity, like in general, because
Well, damn.
oh, yeah, like Alaska, compared to like other cities and states, you just don't run into a celebrity on a regular or have a high chance of doing so. So
Mm-hmm.
for me to meet my very first celebrity and it happened to be like one of the huge hip hop icons of our generation was just baffling. Um, but I will say it was a dope experience. He didn't give off like any shallow vibes
That's good.
or or like, oh, do you know who I am type deal. Like he, as soon as the creepy alleyway dude introduced me, Drake, he was like he was like, oh, what's up, fam? And shook my hand. He's like, you want something to eat? You want some drink? And the whole time I'm sitting there like, dog, this is mad. You're Drake. Like,
Right.
so we ended up talking for a good minute, and he asked me where I was from, and I claim Alaska as home. Like originally I'm from the Netherlands, but I claim Alaska as home.
Wait. Time out. Did I know this?
I don't think he did. Yeah, well, I'm a military brat, so
Okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
my old
Okay.
man was stationed in Germany. My mother was in the Netherlands at the time doing something. I think she like worked some type of job, and so I happened to be born off U.S. soil. So
Huh. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I knew that about you. That's
yeah,
what's up.
technically a Dutch nationalist and an American. uh, but yeah, I did high school and middle school up here in Alaska, so like this is definitely home to me. And
Hmm.
so when I brought that up to him, he was like, "Oh, so we're pretty much neighbors, Canada and Alaska." I was like, "Yeah,
Right.
man." So um, we did the interview. Um, I think I was the only one out of the whole fake Drake interview that actually had something genuinely nice to say about the guy. Everybody else was kind of like dogging him, chatting crap about him, and I was just like, "Dang, man!" But I'm genuinely a fan. Like I respect dude. So
Right.
we ended up doing the interview. You could tell I was nervous because I had never been on camera before. They're like, "All right, we're gonna post up here. He's gonna ask you questions, da da da," and then he did the whole reveal, and then like you see me kind of like veer off almost into traffic, getting hit by a taxi cab. Uh, and then out of everyone that was part of the whole skit, I was the only one that he invited back onto the show. And so later on,
Cause you didn't dog him out.
yeah, I think it was just because it was like a genuine connect.
Okay.
Um, I wasn't like trying to sell him something or be like, yo, listen to my
Right, right.
SoundCloud link, like nothing like that. And so he invited me onto the show. I got to see how the show worked. I found out that it was the Jimmy Kimmel show. Um, and so after the show ended, they had me go to the green room. And in the green room, here's a fun fact. In his studio, Jimmy Kimmel has, from what I could guess, a picture for every person or celebrity that's been on his show when
Okay.
it's their first time. So he takes a photo at the end of the show with that celebrity guest, and then he frames it and puts it in his green room. So he's got like pictures of Ice Cube when it was his first time on the Jimmy Kimmel
Hmm.
show, like Lady Gaga, whoever. And so the only photo of Jimmy Kimmel with Drake when Drake's first time was on the show
Yeah.
had Drake, Jimmy Kimmel, and then me,
Oh,
and it's framed up. So yeah, and that right there was like, dog, I'm really at the Jimmy Kimmel show right now.
that's dope. What year was that?
I want to say like 2013, 2014.
Damn.
Yeah.
Time flies,
I
man.
know. It's been a wild ride since then because even afterwards, when the show was done, all was said and done, Drake was like, "Yo, so is there anything else? Like, like what do you do here?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, I moved from Alaska. I'm a dancer. At that point, I was just a dancer. I wasn't a choreographer, and
Hmm.
I was like, just trying to pursue my goals and my dreams out here." And I was like, "But I do have a request," because he was like, "Yo, like, do you have an Instagram or something? Do you want me to shout you out or follow you?" Um, the first thing that I could think of was, "Nah, I want you to talk to my sister," and not in that way. Like, I know how
Right, right.
that comes off, but nah. So
I get
um,
it.
we tried to call her, and at that point in time, I didn't have a phone. So she's like me. You see a random number, you don't know it, you don't answer. So I left her a voicemail, and then I texted her off the phone that they had gave me, and she calls back, and she's like, "You're not really with Drake." And I was like,
Yeah, she called
Yeah,
Cap. She called
yeah,
Cap on your ass.
yeah, immediately. So
I
I was
get
like,
it.
"Nah, I'm really with Drake." And then she was like, "Nah, I don't believe it." So she gets off the phone. Drake ends up taking this video that I ended up posting on his social media, and in the video, I don't know what prompted me to do it, but
Mm.
I was like, all I need for you in this video is to say her first and last name, because anybody will say that the video's fake
Right.
or
Yeah.
say that I pulled it. So in the video, he like pops up and he's like, "Yo, what's up? It's Drake."
Lily and Perrin, what's up? This is Drake. I'm hanging out with your big brother. We're just kicking it at Jimmy Kimmel. He just killed it. You're gonna see him on TV tonight. He's gonna be a star, world star, everything. But we just wanted to say hi, send our love. You know what I mean? See you soon, hopefully. Peace.
I just want to send out love to Lillian Parham. I'm with your brother. He's gonna be a star, big star. And I like immediately calls back. She's like, "You're really with Drake?" I was like, "Yeah." So then he spoke to her on FaceTime for a good minute. Whole time just cheesing. Um, so that right there was like an indicator for me. Like, dude is a solid guy. Like,
Okay.
he didn't have to do that. Like, he could have just been like, "All right, kid, good luck, peace out." Um, so the skit ended up racking up millions of views on YouTube, and then I went viral, and then I remember one of his people ended up connecting me with my very first casting director.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, so and then I ended up doing like background dancing for a good minute because of that, and that's really how I got started into the whole content creation, social media, entertainment world. Like I genuinely owe both Jimmy Kimmel and Drake for the career that I have now.
Man, look, there's not many people. All right, look, I'm gonna just say this. There's nobody on this planet that could say, "Yo, shout out to Drake and Jimmy Kimmel for helping me, get to where I am today. Yo, they
Yeah,
helped put me on." Like that's just not a thing. It's non-existent. So the fact that you could say that, that's a hell of a flex. That's unique in itself. Okay. Now, fast forward to where you are now, like you're really in this content creation space, and what kind of content do you enjoy creating the most? Like, obviously, I'm always tuning into your like your content is dope. You know, it's organic. I like the flow. Um, Alaska seems to be a beautiful place. I always love the aesthetic. That's something that you can't get everywhere. Obviously, you know.
Nah, nah.
Yeah, with the type of topography it has, and you know the mountain ranges, the beautiful. Wait, isn't there a certain point in time where the sun does not go down?
Yeah, during our summertime, 23 hours of
That's
daylight, well, like 23 and a half, give or take.
how do you get naps in like that?
I mean, you get used to it. Like when you're in, I was gonna say
No.
when you're a local, you get used to it. Like you grew up here, you don't, it doesn't phase you. Like if you're new or a tourist or you just moved or whatever the case may be,
Right.
yeah, it's gonna be a struggle. But for the most part, like most people either get blackout curtains or you just get used to it and you just knock out on the couch or whatever the case.
You know what this kind of reminds me of a little bit?
What's up?
You ever seen 30 Days a Night?
Yeah. Nah, nah, nah.
I mean,
It's
look, y'all got blackout curtains.
mm,
Uh, I mean, look, I don't know who vamping over there. I don't know what type of time y'all on, man.
it's a cool state. It's a cool state. I kind of describe Alaska, especially like Anchorage area, kind of like the West Coast New York, just like without
The West Coast.
all the aggressiveness and like obviously like the dirty city stuff. But I say it in terms of like New York is known as the melting pot.
Right, right.
So Anchorage is so diverse. Like my high school was Pacific Islanders, Asians, Latinos, blacks, whites, like you name it. That was what was at my school. And
Okay.
so it wasn't until like after the whole LA thing that went well, and then me transitioning to Atlanta, another major city, where it was a culture shock. Like
Right.
I get
Yeah.
down to Atlanta, it's nothing but African Americans everywhere. Like from the universities to majority of the celebrities, it's like Black Hollywood over there. So
No,
I was
exactly.
super culture shocked because I had never been around all that. I was like, dang, you know, like, it's a lot of black people.
No, it's a beautiful thing though. It's like I don't think okay, for one, I used to live down there when I was younger. I mean specifically Lawrenceville. I mean outside of Atlanta, of course.
Oh, I
And
know
I
Lawrenceville over in like
yeah.
Suwanee and Duluth area.
Yeah. So I used to
That
live
county.
down there. Yep, Gwinnett. Yep. I went to elementary school down there. I went to, what's the name of the elementary school? Wow. Benefield Elementary, and then I went to Cedar Hill Elementary, and then we moved back to Michigan, and then I spent the rest of my time in Grand Rapids. But just being a kid down there, um, I had an amazing experience as a whole. You know,
Okay.
we were driving to the city. You know, um, the mall was what is it? The Greenbrier Mall, Mall of
Mall of Georgia, I think
yeah,
it is.
Mall of
The Buford
Georgia,
Mall area.
Lenox.
Hmm.
I can definitely say everything has changed at this point. Atlanta, a little too crazy for me. I know that sounds crazy. Me living in Hollywood, in LA, because it's really Grand Theft Auto out here.
Oh yeah, no, I already know.
Yeah, but Atlanta has definitely changed as a whole as well. But I mean, it's some gyms down there. It's some spots you could go to. I love the food. I love the culture.
Oh
But
yeah. I was
I'm
surprised
just
at the Latino culture down there. That was what surprised me. Like over in Norcross area,
yeah, yeah,
like it's either like Mexican Central or like a few blocks over is like a lot of Dominicans. Like I didn't run into too many Puerto Ricans, but literally there's a Dominican barbershop, Dominican salon, or restaurant on every other block, and that like blew me. I was like, wait a second.
right, man. I haven't been to Atlanta in a minute. I would
It's definitely been a minute. I think like 2, 3 years for me. Atlanta's where you and I had first met through a mutual friend at that time. Yeah.
oh, the stories.
Oh yeah, one hundred
Oh,
percent.
the
Yeah,
stories. I
yeah.
mean,
But like we had like so I think the way you and I connected was I had already followed you on Instagram and knew who you were, and I reached out and surprisingly, well, I say surprisingly, for me, um, for up and coming social media content creators, or I guess your everyday person, it's not very often that someone of your caliber um, actually reaches back out. So when individuals like you do, it can come as a shock. So I remember when you had reached back out and you were down to link up in ATL, I was like, oh, he's solid. He's genuine. Cause not a lot of
appreciate
people would
that.
do that. You know what I mean? Cause like
Yeah, yeah.
one, like your guys' DMs are already flooded. Whether you're getting compliments or people badgering for business opportunities.
Mm,
Um, so when individuals take the time to like sift through those messages and like, oh, yo, what's up, man? Yeah, I'll be in ATL. Let's grab brunch or whatever the case may be. So I remember when we linked, um, it was another similar situation in terms of like with Drake. It wasn't like, oh, I'm Donnie. This is what I do. Like, do you know who I am? Type deal. Like, you didn't give off this bravado type personality, and so that's something that I think the people can appreciate, and something that I definitely appreciated at that time. And then so once we got to know each other and hung out a few times out there,
mm.
you definitely took me under your wing, which I always give you credit for.
I know, and look, I appreciate it because like
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
like I give credit when credit's due as well, and I don't ever try to take all the credit. So like a person goes out of their way to say that, like you know what I mean? Like I appreciate it at the end of the day. You know, that
yeah.
was I appreciate those kind words, bro. Like that means a lot for real.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, and dang, what was that like? Excuse me. I think that was like 2015.
No,
Had to
no,
have been
no. No, no, no.
2016.
This had to be around 2017, 2018.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because that was closer to the men's conference that we're like briefly talking about, which you know what? I keep telling I keep telling the viewers, man, I got stories for days. I have stories for days.
Definitely
And
been through some trials and tribulations.
yeah, and it's like it's certain things that I do want to touch on, but it's like
How do you
I
go
don't
about it?
yeah, sometimes I have to sum it up.
Oh
And
yeah,
then if it's if the obviously if there's a situation where the sides may be conflicted, I would almost have to bring that person on here to give their side. But
oh yeah.
it's like some just you got to chalk it up, man, for face value at the end of the
Mhm.
day. Like that's how I feel about certain situations. Yeah, I probably feel like I'm speaking in code, and I'm not speaking in code. It's just I would like to tell the story, but it was just so many moving parts, and I got like I don't know, man. I feel a certain
You got
type of way about it, but that's neither here or there. You know?
it'll eventually come to light. Eventually.
Yeah, facts, facts. Um, that's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Um, moving. Okay, we kind of briefly touched on Alaska, and now we've had conversation about Alaska before, jokingly. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
yo, y'all got that going out there? That's crazy. Now I'm really curious because at some point in time I would love to visit Alaska. You know what I mean? I like different a change of speed, change of scenery.
Yeah.
What? And when you know me, I'm a foodie, man.
Oh, we got
What
that up
type
here.
what type of time y'all on when it comes to the food? I need to know.
Oh no, man. We got a lot of great local spots, whether it's um your local food, burger joint, Tasty Freeze. They've been around, I think, 50, 60 plus years. From like your seafood spots, 49th Brewery, 4th Ave. Ginger's is a little upscale. Sullivan's is upscale. So like we got a little bit of everything. We even got it's like a tropic fusion joint up here, which is like Dominican, Polynesian,
Really?
Puerto Rican type cuisine. So yeah,
Okay.
and then we got like a lot of like pho places up here. So if you're into like soups, a lot of sushi spots, obviously, because we're close to the port out here.
Ah, man, y'all get that wild Alaskan like salmon and all that
Yeah,
there. Y'all get the good shit.
we get the fresh fish. We even got a
Yeah.
festival out after called the Salmon Festival.
Oh, don't tell me that. When does
Yeah,
that
it's
take
called the
place? When does
Salmon
that take place?
Festival. And like we got a festival for just about anything up here, but the Salmon Festival is like I think roughly 800 people attend it. Uh, you got like different beer gardens. Everyone's out there fishing
What?
because it's around the time that all the salmon are in season, so it's like a rush of them.
You
It's
got my
massive.
wheels turning over here.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. The culture up here is different. Like I want to say, like even though we're diverse up here, we're also kind of like stuck in a time capsule. And I'll say that because like some of the stuff we do here
Uh-huh.
isn't in trend or in style in other cities and states. And what I mean by that, like
I can see that.
for example, you'll go to a nightclub up here and legitimately watch two dudes like all out dance battle.
Oh, straight up.
Yeah, they'll dance battle each other like from breakdancing, crumping, whatever, gliding. Like they'll just straight up on the dance floor, like. But and I've never seen that in other cities or states.
Bro, look. Out here, you know what? Okay, I will say that. LA, you can find that vibe. You know what I mean? Like there's literally a pocket for everybody. Like whatever you're into, you can find that vibe. Because I've seen videos on it, and I know some people that go to that. Like the skating rink is still a big thing, especially out
Out in
here.
LA?
Yes. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Give me two
No, you
seconds.
good.
I'm gonna hold up. All right. So we sitting here talking about StreamYard, its capabilities as far as live broadcasts, even pre-record broadcasts. And we're talking about the permission you need to access TikTok and Instagram on the back end to be able to stream. My man here is talking about the NPC trend that's taking place on TikTok, which I don't really understand. I don't really understand it. Um, how do you feel about this NPC trend? It is weird.
It it it's a bit weird, but it's kind of like one of those fads or trends that I personally think just is gonna die down quickly, and I hope it
Yeah.
does. Um, because
What's the point?
it's not really authentic. It's pointless. And it's more like a cash grab because from my understanding of the whole thing is you can get paid from doing it, but it kind of comes down to like at what cost, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
what are you really like gaining from this other than like monetary compensation? Like you're not really putting out quality content. You're just kind of like, all right, going with the flow. Let me do this weird trend that everyone's doing, and you're not really engaging with your audience. You're just kind of doing what they're saying.
Right. And
Yeah,
it's like
I'm not a fan of it.
it's really unsustainable, and I don't know. It's the complete opposite of building something that's authentic. Now, if that's what your audience is asking for, I would have to question my audience at that point. Like, yo, you guys are some weirdos. Like, why are you requesting this shit? Because between the chick, what is she making? She's probably making a hundred G's at this point because now people know about her. Like she was
Oh
under the
yeah,
radar.
she's gone viral. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
'Cause she's is she from Canada?
Pinky something. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
she's from
she's
Canada.
so now people know about her and she's doing I think she's doing podcasts and like interviews. So and she has OnlyFans. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
only imagine when she's making as a whole. Now, what you said is it was you made a very good point talking about like you're doing all this at what cost. It's yeah, it's just a quick money grab if you ask me. I
yeah,
just don't see the longevity in that because I mean at some point in time they're just gonna implement a fucking AI NPC influencer that's gonna just sit there and do that themselves, and then like what would be the point? Like that's easily replaceable.
yeah,
Have you seen the dude the glizzy dude?
yeah,
He's I
yeah.
don't
I
I
saw it. It's just one of those things where it's like, um, when you don't think about your actions or and what the future blowback could be, is definitely can be detrimental in the long run. Especially like if you're an employer and you happen to see
oh my
this hiring candidate and he's like,
what are you thinking about that?
you know what I mean? Like I'm super analytical when it comes to stuff like that. So it's just like, if whatever your end goal is or wherever you're trying to get to in life, like every action has a reaction. So it's
Right.
going to come back to you in some form of fashion. And so I think that that's one of those things where it's like, all right, man, like it's all fun and games now until like you need a job or you're at
Yeah.
like an important function, and then someone goes, "Oh, you're the glizzy guy," and now you can't shake that name because you went viral for doing it.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. And I think um I really think content creators should think in the realm of the long term.
Oh yeah,
The money, I mean, for some people, it's gonna be short term. So like, I'm not even mad at you. I get it. If you're doing this, the glizzy dude, if that's his claim to fame and that's how he made it work and he's making bread from that, man, just run it up until
yeah,
it's non-existent. Is it weird? Yeah, but
oh yeah.
I've
It,
seen
it's,
weirder. I've seen weirder.
yeah, it's definitely weird. I think a lot of content creators, and we've discussed this in the past in regards to, um, a lot of them not thinking long term wise. I know like fellow content creators that I've spoken with, like majority of them already have stuff set in place to
Hmm.
secure their financial well being years down the road. Versus like the newer ones that are getting into it, they're trying to navigate and they're they're just going with the flow and not really coming up with a game plan.
Right.
Um, Taking that success and capitalizing on it is key. Whether you're getting paid from these brands or whatever company that it may be, or local company, using those funds and dispersing it. Whether you're throwing money into your Roth IRA, trust fund, some real estate investments, or just being an angel investor in general, like splitting up your money. That way, your
Right.
money's making money for you, and then if social media dies tomorrow or just gets rid of as a whole, you've already established yourself as a
Right. Right.
household name. So you already have consumers that know who you are and they're loyal and they're going to continue to buy whatever product or service that you're offering, and you don't have to worry about anything.
No, that's real. That's real. And even just reinvesting back into yeah, like the business of content creation.
Hmm.
That's why it's like it's a catch 22 when you look at the short term because the revenue that you have, like what would you be reinvesting into if like there's not like you're just doing glizzy videos all day every day. Like I said, I'm not hating, but I'm just saying Okay, so like now I figured out my in-home studio. Ideally, I mean, long term, I would want a separate room or like an actual physical space that's enclosed where I can soundproof it. Have even more RGB lights, neon lights. You know, on the neon signs on the wall. Like really go all in on the studio.
Yeah.
But that's where my bread would go.
Mm.
Reinvesting into that. Right now, I'm operating off the kit lens from the Sony ZV-E10. Is it the ideal lens to have? Absolutely not. But I turned it into a workhorse because that's what I got right now.
Yeah, you work with
It's a
what you got until you
yeah,
can get better, and then your quality of your content continues to grow and gets better over time. And I think that's what a lot of people fail at is the growing portion of it. It's like, all right, I've built myself up to this platform, and now I have this much money. What can I get to invest into my craft?
right. I agree. That leads me to this next question. Like, what as a content creator, like, what's your ideal workflow? You know, looking forward, is it a studio that you want? Is it like a certain amount of equipment? Is there a certain camera that would help you be more efficient and scale? I'm just curious.
Well, right now, so starting off as a dancer, switching into being a choreographer full time, and
Mhm.
then uh, doing like odd in bits for modeling, I came to the conclusion that I would much rather be behind the scenes. And
Mhm.
so I had switched my focus into being a creative director. So
Okay.
I fully thrive in coming up with the treatments for music videos, commercials, magazine ads, whatever, anything that has to do with creativity, like you name it. I like coming up with the aesthetic, posing the models,
Mhm.
even doing odd in bits for like helping the writers coming up with scripts and stuff like that. That's where I feel like I'm most optimal at.
Mm.
And I definitely would like to get a studio space eventually along lines, having clientele come in, sit down, go over a business plan or strategy, and come up with, all right, so this is the product that you have, or this is the service that you have. Let's talk about who your target demographic is going to be, and how can we best get them into your doors or getting more website traffic flowing through, and how can we do this in a creative and
Mhm.
authentic way, not coming off as like a cheesy
Super
and just
salesy
no,
and
yeah, not a shot, but like the general car motor insurance that I've seen, like to me that's super cheesy. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah, I
fun, it's
agree.
corny. Like I get why they do it, but I mean, there's different ways for getting people in to being interested in your product or service, and so I think that's very important because at the end of the day, you're establishing a bond with your customer,
Mhm.
and so you wanted to almost essentially make it feel like y'all family to a certain degree, like they're an extension, and so I think that's the important thing that I try to let my clientele know. Like, all right, your target audience is 18 to 25. This is the product you're trying to get out. Let's come up with something that pertains to them. There's no one size fit all plan,
So
and
true.
I think that's where a lot of people fail at because they'll see other models and just try to apply that same model to them.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point because that even plays into each social media platform, you know, because
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not a one size fit all. Like I bet it's not a one size fit all. Like for instance, something that you know will pop off on Instagram may not pop off on TikTok. It's just a whole different ball game, and that's relative to YouTube Shorts. LinkedIn is like is more casual now, but it still has like a business professional sentiment to it, where people, they go in, they connect, they want to see what type of business you do, what type of strategies you're sharing. I
Right.
think I think now, like, more than ever in the space of content creation, it's it's really based around community building for the
Yeah.
most part. And that's why I even wanted to pivot into do this. Like, I wanted to show up and let people know, like, yo, I'm a real person. It's just not teaser videos. Like, that's cool. That's cool. Like, that's a part of my past. And I still kind of put something. I put some stuff out like that to this point, but now it's more intentional, because that's the
Yeah.
thing. If I'm giving you a video like that where it's slow motion, you know what I'm saying, shirt off, whatever the case may be, that's on brand to bring eyes and you know what I mean. Like, it's intentional in that regard.
Yeah.
But as far
100%.
as, yeah, but like that's not all. You know what I mean? Like, I have to follow up, and if there's a product that I'm wearing, like, let me give you my honest opinion on this product. Let me throw it in my group on Instagram. Yeah, maybe I recommend it to some people. Maybe, like, yo, go check this out. It's creating the dialogue around the product, or whatever the talking point may be. To have that back and forth. It gets to the
Yeah.
point now where, and look, that merch is coming, man. You
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
you just made me think
Look,
about this, but this
look.
but
You,
this is
you
this
see,
is the
I
point
got
I'm
the
making.
hoodie on right now. It's
Yeah,
hoodie season.
yeah.
I mean, it's hoodie
But
season
this,
all year round for me, honestly. But
that's facts.
yeah, no, I remember texting you about that. I was like, hey, dog, like, where the
Yeah.
hoodies at?
No, but that's still on the way.
Hmm.
I'm breaking everything up into segments. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah,
the li-
different
the
pages.
live yeah, the live stream is going. The pod is going.
Hmm.
I'm still creating the same, men's lifestyle, food, that type of content, but you'll just see a sprinkle of me rocking my own when I start to rock it. You know what I mean? And it's not gonna be like, oh, in your face, like, yo, I just dropped this, everybody go cop it. Like, I'm gonna roll it out
Nice and
slowly.
smooth. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not really gonna talk about it. Like, I mean, I wear so many brands, you wouldn't know any way. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna mention it. After a while, you'll start to see certain shoots, certain lifestyle things. So I'm gonna create, a culture around it, because it's gonna be authentic to who I am. But with that
yeah,
being said, when I was on my live stream a little earlier, man, one of my top supporters since like day one, she made a suggestion in which I was already gonna do this, but I like the fact that she mentioned it. She was like, "Yo, how about like, involve us in that process, as far as, send us some designs, let us give some feedback." And I'm
hmm,
like, all right, because I may or may not use these designs for the final product, but it's the simple fact that we all get to do this together.
yeah.
Where
It's kind
this,
of one of those things where it's like made by the people for the people type vibe,
exactly,
and
exactly.
so bringing them in as like a team effort really makes that authentic bond even more genuine and stronger at the end of the day, because now they're like, oh, all right, he's letting us choose this, we like this here, or cut this here, like, and because everyone's got their different styles at the end of the day, and
Yep.
so when you come up with multiple styles, or you come up with one style that everyone kind of gravitates towards, it makes things a little bit easier.
No, that's exactly, and that's what I'm going for. And shout out to my homies from Godspeed. My boy Randy. Oh yeah, it's Nick's birthday. Nick the coach, happy birthday, dog. Appreciate you. But, like, those guys have been in my corner, even to the point where I could call my guy Randy and ask him, about some insight with Godspeed, you know, as far as how did you get this to this point, or how did you go about sourcing it? And he's not withholding information. You know what I mean? Like I love the fact that he doesn't play gatekeeper, because
That's
a lot of
respect.
people,
Yeah, I was just about to
yeah,
say that. A lot of people will play gatekeeper, um, or have that crab in a bucket mentality. Once
yeah.
you start exceeding their success level, now that jealousy and envy starts to leak in, and they start gatekeeping information, or they try to blackball you, whatever the case may be. But yeah, no, that's a lot of respect, um, and kudos to him for giving you that information.
No, facts. That's family. That's family. We've been locked in since 2016. And Randy, you know, we had this conversation like a week and a half ago, dog. You know, I'm gonna have you on here. It won't be formal. It won't be a, you know. Matter of fact, this is what he told me. Because people have been asking him to do interviews for a long time, and he was like, I can't do a formal interview until we make like 10 mil in 1 year. I was like, you know what? That's absolutely right, and I respect that. So like, you
Yeah,
just come on, we have a casual conversation. I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty, asking you all these like logistical questions. Like I'm a you can save that for that formal one, so
yeah,
we just rock out. And I appreciate the fact that he was still willing to do that. You know.
that was dope. Yeah, that's love. That's definitely love.
Hell yeah. What moving along. I know I got you for like another 10. Got you for another 10, so it's gonna be an hour, you know.
You good?
Um
I don't got anything planned for another 30, 40 minutes.
all right, that's a bet. That's a bet.
Yeah.
Um what are your future plans as a whole?
Um, future plans as a whole. Well,
And,
right
and
now
it's
I'm
and
setting.
it's and my bad, not to cut you off, and
No,
it's
you
not
good.
it's not anything specific. Like I just want to know, like, moving forward, what do you want to tackle in the next year, 2 years or so?
I definitely want to see where my career ends up in terms of this transition to Los Angeles. I'll be moving out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to. I'm schedule got pushed back a little bit, but
All good, all good.
yeah, I'm supposed to be out there here in the next 3 4 weeks. I'm
Oh,
looking
damn,
for.
is that soon?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Los Angeles pans out for me. It's another animal, completely different than Atlanta. Um, I know that firsthand from when I was younger, and I was out there and didn't know anything. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes now that I'm older. Like, I got more
Right.
common sense. I'm not as hooked into the latest and greatest of everything. I remember when I first got down there and my career had just shot off. I was like, oh, I gotta have this designer thing. Oh, I can afford this now. Like, it was. I just got caught up in all the the smoke and mirrors. And
Mm-hmm.
then, fortunately for me, I've never had an incident where um, I've had a bad taste in my mouth, in regards to that portion or aspect of my life. Like, all the celebrities, all the
Mm-hmm.
clientele that I've worked with, everyone has been super genuine, um, and I'm truly grateful for that, because I've heard horror stories about how certain business situations went completely south,
Mm-hmm.
due to egos, or someone scammed somebody, or whatever the case may be. And fortunately enough, I have never had that happen to me. Um, Case in point, this is an interesting story. I haven't really spoken about it, but
Uh-oh, we get the exclusive. We got the exclusive.
um, I remember I got invited to a red carpet premiere for Growing Up Hollywood, or no, sorry, Growing Up Hip Hop in Atlanta.
Okay.
I believe it was for WeTV. It was at the Tongue and Groove. I show up, I meet my point of contact. We get on the carpet, do the thing. And at this point, I'm just chilling because I'm naturally an introvert.
Okay.
On contrary to like what I do online, like when people see me in person, like I'm just super quiet. Like, If I have something to say, I say it. If I don't, then I don't. It's different. Like if I know you like personally, then it's like all
Yeah.
right, I'll talk. But like small talk, absolutely just bothers me. Um, so I'm at the premiere. I end up meeting Johnny Blaze and
Okay.
hip hop legend Debrat
Yeah.
from So So Def, and so uh, I'm chatting it with her for a good minute, and apparently I made such an impression on Debrat that she remembered me a year and a half later when I'm in Los Angeles for the BT Hip Hop Awards.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, so I went out for the BT Awards, and I happened to be at the same event, which was the So So Def 25th anniversary,
mm-hmm.
and they had like a whole red carpet event going on. It was in Hollywood, and so I hit the red carpet, do my little step and repeat, and I get off after an interview, and I kind of make like a beeline to what appeared to be like a little barbecue stand thing. I was
Mm-hmm.
just worried about the food at that point.
No, facts. I get that.
Yeah,
I get
especially
that.
when you're on like red carpets. For me, I don't know about you, but for me, I get nervous because you got
No.
lights, you got people asking you questions, and sometimes they don't ask you the questions that are on the board. They ask you like on the fly questions, and that can throw you off. So immediately I went to go get some food. I'm eating, and the brat walks up, and she's like, "I remember you. You the kid from Alaska, right?" I was like, "The fact that you remember that was like a year and a half ago."
Right.
Um, and so we're talking, and I'll never forget it. Big Boy from Big Boy's radio station in
Yep.
LA,
Yeah.
he ends up walking over, and everyone who whether you're in the music culture or in Cali
You,
knows
you
who
know,
Big Boy.
big boy. You know, big boy.
So he comes over, he's talking to Debrat, and she's like, "Hey, I want to introduce you. This little homie from Alaska." And immediately he's like, "Alaska? There's black folk." Yeah, I already
Yeah.
knew
Of
what was
course.
about to
Of
come
course.
with it. I already knew what was about to
Yep.
come with it. I'm used to it.
Yep.
So we spoke about Alaska for like a smooth 20 minutes, and then he was asking me what I had planned for the next day, and I was like, "Well, I have a couple meetings at like 2, 3 o'clock," and he was like, "Oh, perfect. I want you to come down to the station." And I'm like, "The station?" So he invites me down to the iHeart Music radio station out in Burbank, California. And
Mm-hmm.
I get there the next day. I was like, felt kind of nervous because I'm walking up. The lady's like, "How can I help you?" I was like, "Oh, Big Boy invited me." She's like, "Oh, no, you're good." Go through the little door. I'm sitting there like, this is a big time like station. I've never been in one of these. So I end up getting to where he's at. He's already in an interview, and the person he's in an interview with is Wiz Khalifa.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, and so that's how the picture with Wiz Khalifa came about on my Instagram. And so I'm sitting like on this little couch area, waiting for them to finish their interview, and uh, another person comes walking in and sits down, and I'm like watching like basketball highlights,
Mm.
and uh, dude starts talking to me about basketball, and then we just start going back and forth with the basketball banter, and I finally look up like to like see who it is, and it registers to me that this is Chevy Woods, one of Wiz Khalifa's
Yeah.
longtime homies, and so I'm still talking crap to him about basketball. I'm like, "Nah, bro, so and so's a trash player. I don't care what your opinion is." And so Wiz and Big Boy come out, and Big Boy introduces me to Wiz Khalifa, and then Wiz is like, "Have you met my boy Chevy?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we were just talking about basketball." And Chevy was like, "Oh, you knew who I was the whole time?" I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not about to like be a fanboy. Like we just talk
Right. Right.
normal everyday sports."
We're just shooting.
Yeah. So ended up connecting with Chevy, exchanged contact information, um, ended up getting to meet Wiz Khalifa, and then Big Boy. This is how I know Big Boy is another genuine icon within our culture, is
Mm-hmm.
because after he invited me down to the iHeart Music radio station, he goes to even further lengths to get me free tickets to a concert. Now, this concert was somebody you recognize and have worked with. It was SZA, Ella May, Chris Brown, and then the ending surprise performance from Tiana Taylor. Now, this was my first
Damn.
major like concert experience. I've only been to local concerts up here in
Yeah.
Alaska, like from local bands. So for Big Boy to do that, like he's forever got my respect.
That's
Like,
dope.
yeah, he didn't have to bring me down to his station. He didn't have to introduce me to the people he did, nor did he have to give me those free tickets. And that's one of those things that I constantly tell people about my career was is a lot of the opportunities that I've been given were through just strong relationships. Like the whole Big Boy situation only
Mm-hmm.
happened because I had such a positive impression on DeBrat when she and I met in Atlanta, and that kind of just paid itself forward because I didn't ask DeBrat for any like business opportunities. We just spoke about why we reached there, and she asked me where I was from, told her Alaska, made her laugh, and then she remembered me enough to introduce me to Big Boy, and then that kind of snowballed effect into to other aspects of my life. So I'm a huge believer in networking. Like it's not always about business. Like you don't always gotta just
Right. Right.
talk business, and I think that's where a lot of people fail at when they're jumping into the social media content creation or the
Mm-hmm.
entertainment world. Is like you don't have to have a hidden ulterior motive as long as you move with grace and kindness and you're genuine. People are gonna rock with you and do things without you even having to ask. Like, and I and
That's real.
I'm definitely a testimony for that. Like it's panned itself out in so many ways for my life, and I'm truly blessed for that.
No, look, I respect that because I live by that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And and look, the story is crazy. Like your stories are dope as and the fact that you had never told the story before and you're doing it on the Camp Savage show is a yeah, that's just honor. You know what I mean? To be honest. And
Yeah, I got
what
stories
what
for days.
what's so crazy is like and I've had my own encounters with some of those people that you're talking
Mhm.
about, which
Oh yeah.
makes it even then a smaller world, you know, from the music video with Chris Brown, the boot up with
Mhm.
LMA, and even
Yep.
I got a Wiz Khalifa story. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
you got a whiz one too?
I got a Wiz story too. Yeah, mine was just what April of this year. Okay, so
Okay.
what's the name of that movie? The movie Spinning Gold. That was
Okay.
about was it Cadillac Records back in the day? The gentleman, I forget his name, but he broke Ron Isley and the Isley brothers. I think Donna Summers, George Clinton,
Those are
and
a
the
lot of heavy hitter names.
Funkadelics. I think Bootsy Collins, Kiss,
Okay.
like some of the, and that's just to name a few. Amazing movie. If you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's like it's colorful, it's fun, there's a lot of comedy in it. But I say all that to say this. So I went to the premiere. It was really dope, you know.
Hmm.
Walked the carpet. I was matter of fact, let me go ahead and hit this one time. I've been waiting to do this. Went to the premiere. I took a gummy and my publicist was like, shout out to Claudia. I appreciate you, love you. Um she's like, yeah, Donnie, I got like 8 interviews for you. I just smoked. I took a gummy. Let's roll it. Just man, I was knocking out interviews left and right because I'm just at this point they don't even bother me anymore, bro. There's not anything you can ask me
Hmm.
that would like rile me up on the carpet and shit. Like I've literally toned everything down. I don't have a care in the
Yeah.
world. Obviously, you know, I'm still gonna be able to articulate, but we just literally living in the moment, having a conversation. I'm not like
Yeah.
trying to like overshoot and think about what they're gonna ask me. If you ask me some goofy shit, I'm gonna give you a goofy answer.
Yeah.
That's how I am with it. But I did 8 interviews, and I was so proud of myself when once I finished it up. I was like, damn, we was at the carpet for like 20 minutes. And
Mhm.
for the first time, and this was a long time, a long time coming to get to this point of just feeling free and just
Yeah.
being in the moment. I'm just like, they asked me about my favorite artists, and I'm like, Currency, like, oh, Wiz Khalifa's in the movie. At this point, I didn't know Wiz Khalifa was in the movie, so I learned it in the interview, and I was like, oh, it makes it all the better, you know.
Yeah.
So this was at the DGA. This like this big auditorium theater in West Hollywood. So we watched the film, and it was like, yo, we got an after party. I'm like, oh, after party? All right. I think it was at the Avalon in Hollywood. And when I say that was,
Yeah.
when I say that was lit, it was lit. I
I
mean,
bet.
from the drinks to, if I can remember, Spinning Gold took place. I mean, like that, the actual real events took place in the 70s. So you had
Yeah.
people dressed up in 70s attire on roller skates and the big afros. It was themed all the way through.
Yeah.
So I go there, as myself, my publicist, a couple of our clients. We all just sitting there kicking it. We got some guys from Kiss just in the cuts, chilling.
Jeez.
I see Wiz Khalifa off in the corner because he played George Clinton in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, he did his thing. George Clinton is there. They getting ready to perform, and I've been to quite a few concerts, but the simple fact that you had Wiz up there, yeah, George Clinton, that was a whole different element, man. They
I
started
bet.
playing all the funkadelic type of music, and mind you, you know what I'm saying? I'm from the 90s baby. Didn't grow up on this. I've heard the music before, but
Yeah.
not in a live element where you can really hear the guitar, you can really hear the drums. I'm like, this is better than any concert I have ever been to in my life. Because
It
people
definitely
people
puts you in a
know,
different mood.
yeah, people actually know all these songs as feel good music.
Hmm.
I see Jay Worthy in the corner. You know what I'm saying? I listen to Jay Worthy, so I go up to bro like, hey man, I love your music. It's dope. Like I ain't got a problem walking up to somebody and just letting them know, like, yo, I admire
Yeah.
the work that you do. It's dope. And so we end up connecting, and I told him that for a second, and he went off and did his own thing. He went up to the stage and was like backstage with them. Wiz Khalifa and George Clinton, they get on stage and they perform together. Mind you, you can smoke in the Avalon, so they just firing this shit up. I'm talking like doobies, like big ass doobies, bro.
Oh, I have no
I'm
doubt,
like,
especially with Wiz in the mix.
I'm like, yo, they smoking on stage. They're in the middle of a performance, so it was almost a roach. It was a little more than a roach, but
Yeah.
that bitch was thick, so it was hitting. My publicist, she's in the front, like by the stage, like she's like right up there, rocking out. George Clinton pointing at her, Wiz pointing at her. Wiz passes the joint to her from the
Oh
stage,
man.
and I'm standing right next to her. I got this on camera, which yeah, yeah. I'm adding that. I'm adding that to this episode for sure. Bro, I'm sitting here like he reaches down. There's all these people in the front. He passes it to her. I'm like, yo, what the? She just Wiz just passed the blunt. He was just smoking on the stage to her. She don't even smoke. She
Oh
passes,
man.
bro. She passes it to me. I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I mean? Smoke it. I smoke anywhere.
Yeah.
I bullshit you not. There was like 10 people that like crowded around me like a vulture, and they were like, yo, just let me get one hit, man. I just gotta get one hit. So I'm like, all right. Dude, the lady that worked at the venue, like she was working at the venue. She was like on the clock. She was like, yo, let me hit that.
Yeah.
I passed it to her. Just some random guy and his girlfriend walk up to me and was like, yo, can we hit it too? By that time, I didn't want it back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Nah,
just too many in the
people that
rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I was like, you do your thing, and we just all shared an organic moment.
Yeah.
It was random. It was dope. And then after the fact, it was letting out. I ran into Jay Worthy again, and we just ended up just kicking it, man. The people that were serving some of the finger foods, they had like little chicken sandwiches, little burgers. They had some bombs there.
Okay.
They came over to us. We were sitting in the corner by the exit. It was me, Jay Worthy, and his manager. And I don't want to get this. I don't want to get this wrong because I know he has a issue with this. I believe his name is CEO Whack. When he said it the first time, I mean I didn't know the difference between Whack and Wacko because I'm not hip to the West Coast lingo. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no disrespect, but I believe it's CEO Whack, and I recognized him right off the bat because he was in the movie with like Nipsey and Vin Rhames back in the day called Animal, and like I remember dude.
Yeah.
So we were just kicking it, chopping it up, man, just having a conversation. It was a little more fresh that like my pops passing. We just having just real ass conversations. It was dope. It was a real organic moment, and I still stay in touch with Jay Worthy. Might show him some love or something, shoot a comment. He still responds and is cool. And that was all in that one night. It was a hell of a night. I couldn't make it up.
Yeah, those are one of the like moments where it's like being in our realm, like you're gonna have your good days and bad days. But like moments like those is like this makes it all worth it. Like you have genuine, authentic experiences like that. Nobody's worried about titles being thrown around or trying to be an opportunist. Everyone's just there in the moment, just chilling and relaxing. So I definitely appreciate moments like those for sure.
Yeah, because you know what? It threw me off because like when you're a fan of someone,
Hmm.
depending on who it is, it may be a shock to them. So I told him I was a fan, and then when we like exchanged, Instagrams or whatever, Jay Worthy automatically looked at the number and was like, "Damn, you got, you know what I'm saying? I think it was like roughly 380 something followers at the time. Like yeah, bro, let's exchange number. But like I'm not thinking about that because I don't give a about that. It's
Yeah,
arbitrary. It's just a number. So if you catch me in person, I'm just a regular chill individual. Like I'll talk to you, I'll parlay with you. You know what I mean?
but it's
Just you know
crazy
what I
because a
mean?
lot of people don't think like that. They don't. I've had moments where people have like spotted me at like the gym or whatever, and like, "Yo, you're so and so, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, dang, bro, what you doing up here? Working out. Like,
Right, right.
I think the only time I've had it where it was like, I can't even say it was a bad experience. It was just funny. Um, I had somebody, they saw me at one of the nightclubs up here, and they knew
Mm.
me from social media, and they're like, "Yo, you're Jai, right?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And they're like, "Dang, bro, like you're taller than I thought you were." I was like, "I mean, how tall did you think I was?" They're like, "Oh, bro, you look like you're Kevin Hart size," and all I could do was laugh. All I could do was I was like, "Dang!" So I kind of made me question myself because I started going back to my social media. I was like, "Do I really look that short?"
That's
Like,
funny
do I
as
look
fuck.
that short online? God dang! But it is interesting because a lot of people will take nowadays social media has become like the new resume, like of what you do or who you
Yep.
are. And I tell people all the time, whether you're a content creator or you just a regular person posting like family pictures, like post what you want to post and love what you post at the end of the day. And then two, like don't get caught up in all that. Like it's just social media at the end of the day.
It really is, man. But you know what? Some of the people out here, Ben, I've seen people like flex so hard. There was a couple times just throughout the years.
Hmm.
Excuse me, going to a Boohoo event or something,
Yeah.
or maybe Fashion Nova. Waiting outside in the line, I'm like, man, I already know what time it is. Like, I know we probably gonna wait for a little minute. I'm not gonna trip. Like, I don't really give. It's
Yeah.
people, I guess, at the time that had huge followings, and who knows if these people are even still relevant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A vast majority of people will fall off because it's the short term. But I say all that to say this: they're walking to the front of the line like, I got 1 million followers. Like I'm not gonna wait, and I'm like, that doesn't make it valid, or that doesn't
That
make you more.
entitlement starts kicking in. That clout kicks
Yeah,
into their head.
like who gives a you still have to show up and be a real person at the end of the day, and that's what people fail to realize.
Yeah.
Like the online presence, that's cool, that's half the battle, but if there's a situation where you're going to, you have a meeting with the brand, or
Hmm.
and they want to sit down and meet you, and they find out that you're dumb as a box of rocks, that's a representation of you and your brand overall. So you might as well throw the online presence out the window. It doesn't matter at that point,
Yeah,
you
you
know?
can get canceled quick, especially
Yeah.
nowadays. Like the wrong verbiage, the wrong action, or even like who you hang out with. Like association breeds similarities. Birds of a feather flock together. So if you're hanging out with someone who just got canceled for a major offense, and you're still hanging out with them on a regular basis, eventually, whether it's right or wrong, people are going to sit there and assume that you enable or condone those actions of that said individual. And so, whether you partake in that action or you condone it, it doesn't matter because it's all perceptions from the outside. And people can be like, oh, well, Jai's hanging out with so and so, so he must be enabling or he must condone that type of behavior.
No, that's real. That is real, and that's why, like, man, it's like people have their perception of the entertainment business that are on the outside looking in. Like we all
Mhm.
have our perceptions on certain things when we don't know the full story.
Oh, yeah.
But man, I swear, and you can probably attest to this as well. When people are not in this space, you can confidently tell them in the most polite way possible, like, you don't know whatever you thought you knew based on the blog posts. I mean, some of this may be true, but like one of us may actually know the person or know somebody that's tied to that person, and the story may be different, But
Oh,
like
yeah.
obviously, we're not good.
100%.
We're not gonna come on and talk about it. It's not our business to talk about it. You know what I mean? Unless we're
Yeah. 100%.
bloggers. Yeah, but
Yep.
they just don't. It's always a person that has no concept of the construct as a whole. They have the most to say about this.
Yep.
Because realistically speaking, if we're talking the entertainment business, and I'm talking about Hollywood and just acting, music, being a
It's a super
choreographer,
small world. And
it
I
is
feel like
so
I
small.
feel like people don't realize that it is genuinely a small world. Like the other, not the other day, but it was like when I came back from LA from my trip in June, um, and I had told you that I had just met someone that I was introduced to, and
Oh
turned
yeah,
out turned out you two knew each other, and I was like, dang, like here again, another small world. It is what it is. But it was one of
yeah,
those. It was like it is what it is type situations in terms of like it's not surprising to me that you two know each
right.
other or have been in the same space, um, because the industry is very very small. Like I've had situations where somebody will name drop somebody and then they'll act like they have like such a strong bond with them or whatever the case may be,
Yeah,
and the whole time they don't know that I'm actually cool friends with this person or this person's a relative of mine or whatever the case may be, and then that person steps into the room and then they acknowledge me, da da da, and then you see this person trying to latch onto that person,
yep,
and then they completely do like a 180, like, yo, how do you know so and so? Like, well, one, you didn't ask me. Two, you assumed that I was just a regular fanboy that just got invited to the show or whatever the case may be.
yep.
My grandmother used to tell us growing up, God rest her soul, this old quote, which was, "It's better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt." So
That's real.
unless I'm speaking or I'm actively doing some type of action for you to confirm your assumption about me, then all you have is assumptions at the end of the day. Like you can assume I'm poor, you can assume that I'm some busboy or that I'm somebody's personal assistant, and that's why I'm in this space that you're in at the same time. But and
Mm-hmm.
you have no concrete evidence to base off. to your conclusion. So uh, I think that's one of the things that I've always kept in mind, and that's why I move with um, integrity and maintain the same energy. Like, I don't care if you're a homeless person or if you're a CEO of a large corporation. Like, everyone's respect level for me like starts off here until you give me a reason not to. Because I've seen it happen to multiple people. Like, they'll disrespect somebody and then find out later on, like, oh yeah, the person that they were trying to do business with, yeah, the person you disrespected, that's their niece, and now you just fumbled the bag or fumbled whatever
Yep.
opportunity you thought you had. That's going out the window because now said niece is about to throw you under the bus.
And it's over. You chalk that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
Like,
bro, that man, you know what? And like we've had conversations similar to this, but I mean this is even more in depth, which I really do appreciate. I love this dialogue back and forth. Um, Mainly because like I knew your involvement like in the entertainment space, for, to a certain degree, but
mm,
I didn't know how in depth you were, and it's refreshing to hear that like we understand some of the same key points.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And it's like you have to be aware of this in this business. Like some people come out here oblivious, and they think like everybody thinks they're special. Let's be fair.
yeah, 100%.
Some form of
Everyone feels
degree.
like they got something to give, and
Yeah.
to a certain degree, everyone does. But it's
Yeah.
like, just
Yeah.
because you feel like you're special does not trump other people's special gifts that they have to give to the world. So not one more gift is important than the other. And I think a lot of people struggle with that thought process, and because of that, you get a lot of friction. You get a lot of
Yep.
drama that's unnecessary, and it just creates for a toxic, pretty much work environment because we're all in the same space.
Yeah. And just to be honest, just to reiterate what you said, yes, like every person in their own right is special to a certain degree. But then it's like you come to a city where everybody thinks that they're special too, and then there might be levels to the speciality. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Based on the fact of, I mean, the status, a person's background, so on
Hmm.
and so forth, and don't even add the element of, I don't know, just being a beautiful person, on the exterior, and like because this is a city full of beautiful people, and I
I
and I will
learned
say
that
this,
the hard way.
and look, you can probably attest to this as well. This is a city full of beautiful people, to the
Hmm.
point where there are beautiful homeless people out here. Like don't get it misconstrued. Like they may have gone through everything they were going through, but
Yeah.
at one point in time, like they were functional, and they came out here with a dream, and you know it fell short. It is what it is. Like this survival of the fittest, and I don't judge anybody from falling short. Like life
Yeah.
happens, and that smack you in the face is up to you how you pivot. You know what I mean? It's the
Hmm.
rabbit hole or you pull yourself out. We all have choices, and I understand the gripe of it just getting the best of you sometimes. But I will say this: I have seen some homeless people. I'm like, yo, my man looks like Kelly Slater back in the day. He got a tan, bro has abs, or this chick, she's walking down the street like she's out of her but I'm like, damn, she was probably drop dead gorgeous at one point in time. So it just kind of lets you know the type of personnel that you're dealing with. And for me, it's a driving point because I'm like, yo, I have to, even the times that I don't want to do it, and I'm like, I'm not motivated. I'm like, I gotta keep this going. And it's not because I look down on those people in that situation. I just know I'm not gonna be able to function and do the I need to do if I let all my go, and I work too hard. So whatever we got to do, that's what I got to do. So I just kind of
Yeah.
reverse engineer it, you know.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. It's definitely one of those things, especially for me, coming from that world at one point in time. Like,
Yeah.
And I think when people hear that I was homeless in LA as a teen transitioning into my adult years, like they think of like, oh, well, you was probably couch surfing or like, nah, I remember sleeping under highway passes. I stole food out of Ralph's grocery store. Um, what's it called? I remember washing up in like the gas station sinks with the hand soap and stuff like that. Um, and then I learned very quickly during those early times in my life in LA, how some people use their talents to make money, like the dancers. So anyone who's been to LA, I haven't seen it in any other city but California. Like Los Angeles is where I've only ever seen it, and that's where like you'll see dancers over in like Santa Monica Pier or Venice
Oh
Beach, and they
yeah,
put
yep.
hats out and whatnot. So I became one of those individuals. I was like, well, I'm a dancer. Like, let me try to legally be able to buy some stuff for me.
I
So,
feel
um,
that.
and that's what I did to get by. Like, I don't want to change it for anything in the world because I feel like going through that. I didn't grow up super poor. I didn't grow up in a wealthy household. I grew up in a medium house. Like, fortunately, I had two parents. I had my sisters, and that was it. Like, we all had each other. Like, we weren't super struggling for anything. Like, our parents made sure we were straight. So that being said, going from that stable environment, being thrown into, I don't know when my next meal is gonna come from, or I don't know like if I'm in the wrong neighborhood wearing the wrong color because Los Angeles is very prevalent with the gang activity. Like that was
Man.
something else that was new to me because we didn't have that in Alaska. So
Right.
um, I look at that portion of my life as a character building year. Like everything that I have now, I'm much more appreciative of. And so when I am able to give, I'm one of those people, and my mother is a huge example of that for me in my life. When I give from the heart and not to receive, and that has brought me to a certain point in life where it can be hindering to a point,
Mm.
and you've gotten on me for it a couple of times, where it's like you've approached me on something, and I'm like, yo, I got this. I'm gonna bring you in on it. I'm like, oh, say less. Like
Mm.
I'm gonna hook it up, or I'm gonna find you the people. I'm gonna do what I can within my power to make sure that things go right. And then you'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure you get paid for it. I'm like, nah, it's cool. And then you're like, Jai, you got to get paid for your favorites. And for me, it's like I'm so keened in on. I'm so dialed into the point where it's like I want to see everybody win.
Right.
It doesn't have to come back to me and benefit me in any form of fashion. I'm just trying to win in my own lane, but I also want to help other people win. So if you come to me and you want to learn this, or you're trying to get connected with this, I don't mind connecting those dots and helping you succeed. I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't
Hmm.
have that crab in a bucket mentality, but I am learning as time goes on. It's like, all right, I do got to at some point charge for these favors or whatever the case may be, which for me is definitely a struggle and a battle that I constantly deal with on a daily basis. I think it wasn't until you and I had that conversation out in
Hmm.
LA at that restaurant where I was just like, he's right, but how do I go about it? Because for so long,
Right. Right.
I've just been that guy where it's like, I've been blessed with opportunities that just came from, I can't really say from nowhere. It just came from me being me and
Right.
people gravitating towards that and like, yo, he's a cool kid. Let me throw him this opportunity. Like I didn't ask for it. I didn't pay anybody. Like they just did it out of pure love. And so for me, that's how I move. Is like I just like blessing people just to do it. I know that it'll come back tenfold from somewhere else later on down the line. Um, but yeah, that's definitely something that I've actively been working on. Is like, all right, so how do I pick and choose? It's easy when it's a corporation or a company
Right.
approaching you and it's like, hey, we want to work with you on this. All right, cool. Lock in business mode. All right, well, are you trying to you have licensing and usage rights? Do you not want me
Mm. Right.
to post any competitor for a full year or 6 months or whatever the case may be? Like that mode, I understand. But when it comes to
Right.
like friends, family, or just a complete stranger that's trying to get connected or, excuse me, trying to hire me for something, that's when it's like a gray zone because you're like, all right, how do I maneuver on this to where you're not damaging the relationship with this friend, family member, or stranger?
Yeah. Um and like and touching on this, I didn't always have it together in that regard cuz like you got to somebody has to tell you like, "Hey, look at it this way." It was the same thing. So it was like it made sense to me and I was just passing along the information cuz I was like, "Damn, I took the information from somebody that I respect and that manages has been managing hedge funds, that closes funds at 1.5, 1.6 billion and he's in this space where like money flows freely and it's
Yeah,
not really a thing and like, we're trying to get to that point and it doesn't have to be all the money in the world. I'm not saying a billion. I'm just saying um want to know like what that feels like. So it's like they didn't put money on a pedestal. It's just literally a tool. It's a vessel. And when you do favors, obviously you do them, because you're being kind or whatever your
yeah,
intention is up to you. Like who am I to say whether you're right or wrong? Because when it's time to cash that in, who's to tell you that you can't do that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
hey, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. But I learned that that's the way these guys move in that financial space of, yo, I'll bring you in on this deal. I may not have cash, but I'll put sweat equity in. You know
hmm,
what I mean? Or all right, let me bring some components to help you put this deal together. Let me get some equity, and then when we cash out, I got my own funds. So let me come in with my own on this next deal, and that's how they function. And I'm like, okay, that's how you keep bringing everybody up. You let them earn it at that point,
right,
you know.
yep,
So then, like, you always have constant flow of deals or potential deals that come across your table. You don't have to jump on every single last one, but it's the fact that it never runs out because once that person gets a taste of what this is about,
hmm,
they then start to break off and get their own resources. So they may have a deal that you didn't find. They bring it to the table, everybody puts in, they break bread again, and so on and so forth, just to keep that ball rolling. And it just made so much sense when my guy told me that. I was like, you're absolutely right because it initially started with let me see, I met guy's name is Tom, by the way. uh
okay,
Met him back in 2019 through a mutual friend. He connected us, and this was like right before I moved to LA. Like, I have a background in real estate, but I wanted to get back into the game on more of like an investing level, and I'm trying to, or if I want to flip houses, whatever the case may be. And he I remember we were downtown at this bar restaurant, and he asked me like, why do you want to flip houses? I mean, obviously, it's the revenue and to
yeah,
be able to get some capital. But when you ask that question, when he asked it, I just took it for face value. But no, he's like, really, like, why do you want to do that? I didn't have an in depth rebuttal or a answer for him, and I'm like, damn. I mean, he would say because it's the money,
yeah,
obviously, but like, would we
yeah,
like, would you like? I'm thinking in my head, like, would you know that, But nah, he just really wanted to get to the core, and I couldn't explain that, and he was like, okay, the amount of time and effort you would spend trying to flip one, with the right set of people, the right pool of people that have the resources, you could use leverage to start buying 50 to 100 units at a time. The same amount of effort, it's easier to spread out the risk to bring more vetted people involved than to go off on a limb because like you can only do so much. And it's not, I mean, sometimes that's your starting point. It is what it is. He just let me know that the game is a lot different on the other side. So I just kind of always kept that in mind and I utilize that same mindset in everything that I do now, which has
Yeah.
led me to doing this. You know, I'm not spreading myself so thin at this point. I'm gaining my sweat equity and my own money up. I love the fact that Cam and Mace are doing their thing with it is what it is. You know, they put up
Yeah.
250 a piece. Can't nobody tell you how to run your is your
No,
you know?
100%. I think that's the end goal for a lot of people is not having a boss or being able to not have financial freedom. I think that's what a lot of people pursue at the end of the day. And that's not to say that you want like a multi-million-dollar company or anything like that, or you want like lavish cars or whatever the case may be. For some folk, it's just having that financial security and being able to fund whatever lifestyle that you choose to have at the end of the day.
I agree. I agree. And for me, look, I know I have referenced this. Look, people. I have referenced this, but it's so fresh. I just keep learning every single day. And it's never to put a damper on any of the episodes that I do on here, but I make this reference because I gain this clarity every day. So I always reference like my father passing and like the level of clarity I've gained after that. Like so much it just makes sense to me now. Didn't make sense to me. I just literally take for face value. I don't sensationalize about anything anymore.
Mhm.
Now, when I say I want to do something, I don't sit there and just spin my wheels. Like okay, what is it going to take for me to do it? All right,
Yeah.
bet. I'm about to build it out. Like that. That's how I got to this point. I have to build it out. Go to the drawing board. What you want it to look like?
Yep.
Uh, you know, how do you want the flow to be? Who do you want to bring on here? Like, are you gonna go all in? You gonna half-ass it? Nah, we going all in because the definite thing that we know you're gonna check out at some point in time. So with that being said, you might as well take to the moon and be exactly who you want to be. Like, stop thinking about it. Uh, obviously, you want to project the future and you want to have big dreams,
Yeah.
but people's dreams aren't. What I'm finding is they're not big enough. They're not like wherever you land is where you land.
Yeah.
But if you just baby step this all the way out, man, take one step at a time, you could really, you will surprise yourself.
Oh yeah. You
And the fear
definitely
shit is
meet
not
your
real.
expectations at the end of the day.
Yeah, this fear shit is not real. Like the shit I used to fear about when it came to acting, being on camera, getting on stage. I'm like, I literally seen my pops, like deplete slowly. I wasn't there every single day because I'm in LA. My parents were in Michigan, but I'm getting the feedback from it. All the way to the point where he actually passed, and I'm like, that's the end all be all. I have
Yeah.
literally seen the end all be all, and if and anybody that's ever lost somebody close to them, they understand that's the end all be all at the end of the day. So this is gonna happen. Why would you shortchange yourself in anything you do at that point? It's damn
Yeah.
near a slap in the face to the person that you've lost because like their journey is ended. So why wouldn't you go 110%? I mean, just in the sake, just for the simple fact that they can't do it anymore. Like that's what I'm saying. So that
Yeah.
kind of that rubbed off on me, and there was a moment in time where I could have went off the deep end. I really could have went off the deep end. It was tough. It was trying, but I was like, F that shit, I worked too damn hard to get to this point,
Yeah.
and I told him what I was gonna do. I was like, "Look, man, I'm about to run this up before we pass," and that's what I'm doing. Cause my word is my word, and I'm sticking to it. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait till I'm 50. Could I wait till I'm 50? Yeah, but who's to say I'm gonna be around till I'm 50 to get shit
Yeah.
off the
Nah.
ground? You know?
I definitely got to go all in with it. It's all or nothing. Can't half-ass anything. Um, and I 100% agree in terms of it being a slap in the face to the individuals that fully loved you and believed in you and whatnot. I know for me, my motivator was my grandmother.
Mm.
Uh, I didn't come from like a super supportive family in terms